And you can just make sure the sound is on. Lord in Christ, this is the Israelite School, Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana. And we have been called to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm Officer Quahal out of Delaware. And tonight we're going to be going into the law. There's other topics that we're going to cover, but we will be going into the law class. Another thing that I wanted to point out outside of the intro that I made was we do not affiliate with any other Israelite group. There's a lot of Israelite groups out there that are getting their backs blown out. Right. There's a lot of Israelite groups that are into graping, into corn. And these are terms that I'm saying so we don't get banned. But there's a lot of things that are happening out in the world from the so-called Israelite community that have nothing to do with what the Israelite community should actually be. Right. So with that being said, we're going to go into the law. And what the law is something that governs us and our decisions. So we don't have to actually think about what we should and should not do. We know according to the law and the spirit of the law what we should be doing. If I could I get Jeremiah 10:2? Because if you look at the scriptures, in the way they're written out, if you can have some understanding of what the scriptures really are, you can understand that everything in the Bible can be applied to your life. There's individuals that may not believe that because they think it's some old, ancient, archaic book and the times are new. But just like things are happening today, they were happening these days and times. There's just a language and a cultural barrier for you not to understand what the scriptures are talking about. Right. So we'll start with Jeremiah 10:2 to get us started off.
Khan, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
All right. So let's run that back one more time. Learn not the way of the heathen. So at face value, if you don't have the proper context and know what that means, you might think it's something of the fact of let's stick with the word heathen. You might think the word heathen is just a non-believer.
Right.
But in this context, a heathen is somebody who is not a child of God, that is not the children of Israel. What this is stating is learn not the ways of the heathen. That would be their cultural practices. That would be their belief systems. That would be, a lot of the disgusting ways that heathens have, even in today's times, we're not supposed to be learning. So we can go ahead and take that from the top if you could, Baba Kashan.
Khan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
So right there, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Now, a lot of sisters in the world might get upset.
Right.
Because what I'm about to bring out is being dismayed at the signs of heaven is talking about those zodiac signs.
Right.
That's what that's talking about. Being dismayed at the signs of heaven is something that has taken place for thousands of years. And it's something that doesn't need to be focused on. It's lucky if y'all can. I'm not sure if y'all hear the rain in the background. It's coming down right now. But being dismayed at the signs of heaven is thinking that you can look at the stars and chart your future.
Right.
That's not something that's actually real or possible. Being dismayed at the signs of heaven even has sisters believing in tarot cards. I know that's something that we've talked about in class before, but we should hit on that again because there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that you can't get away from, whether it's the United States president sending ICE after our brothers and sisters, whether it's the drug culture that the oppressor has convinced us is something good, whether it's our brothers and sisters getting locked up in the prison system and not having any advocates to help them out of the daily hell that they have to go through. Tarot cards, reading the stars, and believing that it's going to bring you fortune is something that's just not true. Let's get that one more time from the top.
Come on. Salaki, if I
Go
may,
ahead.
just to add in on your point about the zodiac signs and things like that, a lot of our sisters and brothers, not only the sisters, a lot of sisters and brothers are basing their lives off of, oh, I'm a Virgo, I only could do this and only could do that.
Right.
And that's a fallacy. That mindset is a mindset to further destroy you and further keep you away from God, as the priest is bringing out.
Nah, you're absolutely right. Did you want to say anything more on that? Because I was actually going to touch on that just a little bit. There's a lot of situations to where people are basing, their personality
right
off of, a zodiac sign, a reading of a zodiac sign. There's a lot of people that believe that they're not compatible with another person, or that they have a bad attitude based off a zodiac sign.
Right.
You're not based off of how I act, or how I am, or the actions that I take. It's not based off a zodiac sign. People are human beings, and we have control over what we do. If you're gonna have a trash attitude, it's not because who do they say has a trash attitude? I don't even know, but let's say one of the zodiac signs they say has a trash attitude.
Right.
That's not a zodiac sign thing. That's a person thing.
Right.
That's the way that person was raised, their behavior. They've decided not to change that. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Concern. Salakia, just to add in on what you're saying, like a lot of our people, social media doesn't help, because a lot of times when social media is making these posts of,
right,
this, for example, a social media is making posts as you could only date Virgos because Virgos are the only ones that's going to treat you right. You know what I'm saying? So they're furthering pushing the narrative of the what's it called again for the zodiac signs?
Right.
They're further pushing the zodiac signs belief system, which is so detrimental to our people finding true love, finding true success, and getting out of the condition that they're in.
Absolutely. And one of the things that Black people have to realize, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, there's no zodiac sign. There's no other God that's going to get you out of the condition that you're in.
Right.
If I could, let's get to the law of it. Let me get Leviticus 18:3, because that's Jeremiah. Jeremiah is matter of fact, let's read it. Let's read it one more time from the top, just to get the full verse, and then we'll go ahead and move on.
Okay. What's
happening right now is Jeremiah is doing what the Lord told him to do. He's bringing the word out to the people. I just saw something on social media where there was a 12-year-old in Dover, and he was smoking a Black and Mild. And instead of the brother that was recording him telling him not to do it, instead of the brother telling him, how that would affect his life, he's encouraging the brother to do it by saying, how long you been doing this? What's your age? This, that, and the fourth. Like, Jeremiah is the opposite of a brother like that. Right. Jeremiah is not going to let you wallow in your filth. He's going to say, hey, you got to step up out of that condition. You got to step up out of that filth. You got to get yourself clean. You have to make it a point to tell people when they're doing the wrong thing, because that's how you show that you love them.
Right.
And the Lord is requiring that of you. Go ahead.
It's like it too. It's just so heavy what you bringing out. But it's just like the scriptures say, like if you got an opportunity to do good or speak good, it says not to hide your wisdom. So it's like a lot of, like in the Black community or the Black society, right, anytime anybody's telling you right from wrong, a lot of our people get attitudes. A lot of our people get hasty. They get angry. They start moving weird with you. You mean, and you just start to see how much of a lawless society we are. You mean, if you're not in the truth of God, and it just shows. So
absolutely,
it's like it.
And what you're saying is heavy, because the lawlessness comes from trying to follow the laws of a culture that we're never meant to follow.
Right.
The laws and customs of a heathen that just doesn't look good on us.
Right.
There in the scriptures, I'm not going to go too far in it for the sake of time, but it talks about the vessels fitted for wrath, the vessels for destruction. Those are the people who can constantly, and those are the nations who can constantly do all the obscenities that the Most High doesn't want them to do, but they can operate and live in a space to where it doesn't look bad. Like the heathen, they're able to do all of these despicable, disgusting things, and they wear it well. You have people on your job that they sniff grams of coke They do all types of, the breaking of the natural laws. They do all types of the breaking of federal laws. But when you try to do it, it shows on you.
Right.
You look terrible doing it. You go to jail for it. The Most High sees what you're doing and it ends up being revealed. If we could, let's get Leviticus chapter 18 and 3.
Khan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do.
So the Most High in this scripture, matter of fact, let me get there with y'all. That's Leviticus 18 and 3.
Khan.
Let's read it from the top one more time, Salakia.
Khan.
Hold on. Matter of fact, let's go for context, because this is Moses being told by the Most High what to say.
Right.
So let's hear it.
Khan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God.
So the Most High is being told, Salakia, Moses is being told by the Most High to speak to his people, the children of Israel, and let them know that he is the Lord their God. He is Yahweh their power. He is their power. When you hear God in the Bible, or you see God in the Bible, a lot of times that means power. What you use for what you need. We need to go to the Most High, not a rock, not a cross, not the zodiac signs. We need to go to the Most High.
That's right.
Verse 3.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Okay, so bam, this is happening where they were in the land of Egypt. They dwelt in the land of Egypt. Then they were in the land of Canaan. There's two different peoples being mentioned. So the children of Israel are in the land of their oppressors. The children of Israel are in the land of people who don't have the same customs, laws, and gods. The children of Israel are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So where are we now? We're in the land of our oppressor.
Right.
We're in the land of people who serve a different God. They serve Caesar Borgia, which is what people ignorantly think is Jesus Christ. They see the form of a white man. They believe that's Jesus Christ. If you show that to anybody and you say, who is this? And it's literally the picture of one of the Pope's sons, they're going to say it's Christ. But we're in the land of our oppressor that believe that's God.
Right.
Read verse 4.
Khan. Ye shall do my judgments.
So it says, and right before that was read, it says, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Shall ye don't do any of what they do. So even though we're in the land of our oppressor, we can't do what they do. Men shouldn't be marrying men according to the Bible. We shouldn't be committing adultery. The sisters shouldn't be whores, even though that is what the land of our oppressor allows. Even though our oppressor allows that here, we're still supposed to walk in the ordinances of the Most High,
right?
Not follow the ordinances of those who actually are in this land and where we've been led, because the Most High did have us here to serve out our punishments. We're here now. We don't do what these people are doing. If I could, let me get Leviticus 20 and 23, which is pretty much saying the same thing. Unfortunately, brothers and sisters need to hear the same thing over and over. That's how they get you with the music. You don't even like the song at first. After a while, you hear it over and over again, and
right.
You like it. The first time you hear, you know it's something disgusting and terrible. The lyrics that you hear Sexy Red saying are absolutely disgusting. But after a while, I get catchy. You hear You hear when you hear ski yeet, you want to repeat that now because you heard it so many times. That's what you want. You hear that so many times, it gets so catchy. You want to repeat it. It becomes something that becomes your alma mater now. That's what you want to say now. But let's hear the scriptures enough times where we get that in our spirit.
Right.
Let's hear Leviticus 20 and chapter 23.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you. They committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
The Most High hates these other nations that commit all of these other disgusting things that he has set for us not to do.
Right.
But yet and still, we want to walk in the ordinances of people that actually hate us. I'm going to go into it a little bit, but let me see. Where do I want you to go real quick? If you could hold... I'm going to get one more precept for that. Deuteronomy 18 and 9. Because I'm trying to get in your mind, because right now a lot of our issues as people in this nation is the fact that we're trying to model ourselves after different things that the oppressor has given us, whether it's capitalism, whether it's drug culture, whether it's just whoredom. We try to model ourselves, and we don't realize, because we don't have our own identity, because we're trying to follow after people who have actually stripped us of our identity. We don't even know which way to go. We don't have a moral, compass,
right,
or know what we should actually be doing.
Right.
So I'm gonna read a few things and show you where some of these cultural things come from. But I just wanted to give you a few analogies and some things that I researched with the AI overview. So the culture and the customs of the heathen, we're not supposed to be taken up. The definition of a custom is a traditional and widely accepted way of behavior or doing something that is specific to a particular society, place, or time. Is that not what's happening to us, where we take on the customs of heathens? And the Most High told us not to do that. Can you think of anything custom-wise that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have taken up?
Yeah, birthdays.
Okay, bet. So birthdays would be one of them. That's literally perfect. I'll go into that. All right. When you're going through different countries, you have to go through customs, right? Because what you're bringing over from a different nation, which is like, it could be fruit, it could be potentially, invasive species. You can't bring those things over to different nations because it would cause harm, because it's out of its natural state into a different place, which it shouldn't be. We should start thinking of that in a way of, when we bring different things into our lives, when we bring different things into our culture. I'm gonna go ahead and read what customs actually does so we can get that analogy, set a little bit greater in our minds. It says customs, and we're talking about customs like at an airport, or at like a, what are those ships called? Like a cruise ship. Because you go to different countries and you travel, right? It says customs stop certain fruits from entering the country to protect domestic agriculture ecosystems from potential threats like diseases, pests, and invasive species. The Most High is trying to protect us from all the invasive things that these other nations are bringing to us with their customs.
Right.
That is what we should be doing. When we're reading, whether it's Jeremiah, whether it's Moses, and he's saying, don't take the way of the heathens, don't do the way of the Canaanites and the Egyptians, don't do the way of the people that, I've driven out of these lands, is because those particular fruits that they have are going to destroy everything that we have. Those customs and those ways of the heathen are going to destroy our very way of life. It's going to unravel the fabric of what we are supposed to be sewn in together. Let me go ahead and get birthdays, because you brought that out. Birthdays is a tradition or a custom that comes from the Egyptians, and then that's passed down to the Greeks. And I'm gonna keep on bringing this out every chance that I get, especially since you brought it out. All right, this is a Reader's Digest article, and I only read a little bit of it. It says the ancient Egyptians are credited with inventing the celebrations of birthdays. So right there, if you go to the origins of things, right now we're in a place where black people want to say we need to get back to our ancestors. We need to get back to our roots. But how can you get to that if you don't actually know where you've come from?
Right.
Where if every bit of history that you intake is something that's from the oppressor. The last time I checked, the school system is eradicating anything about slavery. But before that, slavery is literally the beginning of what we're being taught about ourselves. Is that any identity to have? Is that anything that can uplift Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, learning about the fact that we were conquered, the fact that through that conquering, we were literally stripped of every little thing that we knew about ourselves. You ask a Hispanic what language that they spoke before the Spaniards took over, they're not going to know. If you ask Blacks what language they spoke, what type of names that they had, they're not going to know. They may refer back and say, well, we were African, but there's 50 countries in Africa. Which country? Do you want to go to the most popular country that we hear about, the Egyptians? Because the last time I checked with the Egyptians, their culture is rooted in homosexuality. Like it's coming out, like you have different homosexual things within that culture that Black people are tying themselves to. I'll keep reading. It says, the ancient Egyptians are credited with inventing the celebration of birthdays. They believe when pharaohs were crowned, they became gods. So their coronation day was a pretty big deal. That was their birth as a god. Ancient Greeks borrowed the tradition, but rightfully realized that a dessert would make the celebration all the more meaningful. So that ties into the birthday cakes. So hold on. If we could, let me get Jeremiah 10:2 one more time, because we're reading the fact that we were told by Jeremiah, a prophet of the Most High, not to intake what the heathens are doing as a customs. I've already read to you the analogy that customs are what stops certain fruits from coming over, and it's because the disease and the invasive species are what destroys the lands that it's brought to.
Right.
Are not the heathen and invasive species with their customs that's destroying us? Is that not something that happens to us? Have we not taken on so many different things from the heathen that the Most High has actually turned his back on his own people, to where people that are less smart, less strong, that are, just less of everything and supposed to be set for the day of destruction, these people that are less than us are able to rule over us because we couldn't listen to simple things. We couldn't follow a simple law. And then we want to bring up the fact that there's 300 laws in the Bible. We want to bring up all these. No, how much, Salakia? I said 300. What is it? 600 laws that they try to bring out? Let's get Jeremiah 10:2 one more time.
Khan, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Give me a sign of heaven. What will be a sign of heaven? You in the back, sir.
A sign of heaven would be like the solar eclipse.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. The solar eclipse is the sun. And then if you think about it even further, the lunar eclipses that happen. One of the things that's associated with birthdays is the moon. It says the ancient Greeks started making cakes that were modeled after the moon as tribute to Artemis, the goddess of the moon. That's what it means to be dismayed at the signs of heaven. They see the moon in its fullness, and they decide to make a cake after it. They see the sun in its fullness during the winter. The heathen decides to worship it and say it's a god. That's why Sunday is the day of worship.
Right.
It's for Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, because they believe even the winter can't conquer the sun. They believe that is the sole reason for life on earth. The evergreen tree that they put up on Christmas is something that they believe lasts forever. So everlasting life, they put into the signs of heaven instead of the creator that created those things in heaven, the ordinances of heaven. One more time with Jeremiah 10:2, if you could, Baba Kashah.
Khan.
Salaki, if you could. Matter of fact, let's get the actual law one more time. Leviticus 18:3. Because Jeremiah says what the Lord told him to say, but you could also get it in the law.
Khan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
Where did birthdays come from?
Egypt.
The ancient Egyptians are credited with inventing the celebration of birthdays. Let's read that one more time. Is
Come
making your
on.
alarm, the storm making your alarm go off?
Mhm.
No sweat, no sweat.
Kawakan, verse chapter 18 in Leviticus, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
The birthdays are coming from the land of Egypt. When you find out that you're doing something wrong, you're supposed to turn away from it.
Right.
When you find out that all your life you were lied to by your pastor, by your imam, by whatever priest of any other religion that you serve, and you find out you're supposed to turn away from that, you don't continue to live in the filth. You don't get to decide that you have a personal relationship with Jesus, and now you can celebrate birthdays after being told by the Most High through his laws that you don't take on the customs of the heathens. You don't do what the Egyptians did. You don't do what the Greeks did. The Greeks today and the Greeks yesterday were what we know today as the so-called white man. The so-called white man is your oppressor in the United States, your oppressor in England, your oppressor in Australia, some parts of South Africa that they haven't been ran out of. If you're a Black, Hispanic, and a Native American, the Most High has called, and a so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, you don't do what the Greeks did. The Greeks are here today telling you exactly what to do. The Most High says a man and a woman is marriage. The Greeks say what? The Romans say what? They say a man can marry a man. The Greeks and the Romans say a woman can marry a woman. They say you should celebrate your birthday. And they got it from other heathens. One more time from the top, if you could.
Kawakan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
With that being brought out, there's only one thing I can think of that would keep somebody in the life that they shouldn't be in, and that's the fact that you don't love or respect the Most High's words.
Right.
You don't respect the fact that Christ died for your sins so that you could actually come back and serve the Most High.
Right.
Because you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus. You don't have a personal relationship with the Most High. The Most High has a relationship with his people.
That's
It
right.
is a fatherly relationship. The Most High says, do, and you do that. The Most High says, don't do that, and you don't do that. You don't get to decide what you pick and choose not to do. What's that one verse where it says, think not? Hold on, let me get that for you. Salaki.
If a man think of himself to be anything.
No, I got you. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that verse up.
Kind, sir.
Give me 1 second.
And just to add in on your point, if I could, so
Go ahead.
a lot of our people like to lean, like you were saying, unto their own understanding. And
Exactly.
they like to, instead of following the understanding that was given to us, we'll rather lean unto what we think is right, or what we know to be right, or what we seen to be right. And none of what we seen or none of what we know is true.
And you know what? I'll go to that first. It's lean not into your own understanding.
You want me to pull it?
Yeah, if you could.
Come on. This the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5.
Hold on, Salaki. 1 second. Let me get there with you.
Come on.
All right. So go to Proverbs. Start at 4 if you could.
Come on. This the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 4. so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
Your own understanding would be trying to decide what morally is right versus understanding what the Most High said is morally right.
Right.
Your own understanding would be something of the effect of saying, I can sleep with that man's woman because I don't know him personally. The
Right.
Most High says you can't sleep with that man's woman. The Most High says you should be put to death if you sleep with somebody's woman.
That's right.
You can't lean into your own understanding when it comes to having morality because you're going to go to whatever your heart desires. Let's read that one more time from the top, because it literally says about what your heart is.
So shalt thou find favor.
No, you can start at verse 5, Salakia.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
Right.
In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Your path should be directed by whatever the Most High has for you.
Right.
You have certain freedoms as far as choices of what you'll do that have nothing to do with the law. But when it comes to the law, it's cut. It's literally right there for you to read. Birthdays are off limits. Tarot cards are off limits. Fornication is off limits.
That's right.
In verse 4, when it says you'll find favor in the sight of God and man, do black people have favor in the sight of God and man right now? The reason being is the very oppressor that you try to follow and you try to emulate yourself after absolutely hates you, but yet and still you try to model yourself after that oppressor. You try, like, every single thing that black people have done to try to assimilate and be like the oppressor has failed.
Right.
You decide to cut your hair bald and shave off your mustache and go to the job and talk and have mannerisms that don't actually fit you. The oppressor thinks you're a joke, makes fun of you behind your back, and has absolutely no respect for you.
Right.
You decide that you're going to eat and drink and be just like the oppressor. That's not going to stop you from getting pulled over on the side of the road and getting the absolute trash beat out of you on the side of the road by a cop that doesn't care that you've assimilated. They care that you're not an oppressor. They care that you are absolutely hated. If I could, we can drop that. Let me go to Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 7. If I could. And then I want to skip down to something.
21 and 7.
Yeah,
21 and 7.
If you could, Baba Kashai.
This the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore.
They should not take a wife that is a whore. Well, you could kind of say a whore and a prostitute are pretty much the same thing, right?
Right.
Right now, what is the consensus with a lot of these women on Instagram when it comes to what they're looking for? If I could.
So, like, if I may, a lot of the sisters nowadays is just looking for somebody to pay for everything, and they'll do whatever they want after that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And what happens when that man can no longer pay for whatever they want?
Sir, they gonna move on to the next.
All right. That's a prostitute.
Right.
The definition of a prostitute is a person, in particular, a woman who engages in sexual activity for payment. You got sisters flying to Dubai to get doo-dooed on.
Right.
You got sisters that are going on yachts just for a little bit of money and doing whatever acts that's being required of them. And then you got the simps that are going to pay for these same women to engage in those acts. Let's get that Leviticus 21 and 7 one more time.
This the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband.
A lot of these women have a man or were put away from their man. And what does a weak man do? A weak man will take a woman that was put away, and what does that do? That further engages the cycle of women's behavior on being able to leave one man and go to the next.
Right.
The behavior would be fixed if we went, nah, I'm not taking that sister because she did this, that, and the fourth. One more time from the top, just the part where it says they shall not take a wife as a whore.
Khan. This the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband.
Is that a hard thing to follow? Absolutely not. Go ahead, sir.
In this society, it is because all of the songs. I was just saying, like in this society, it is because look at what's coming out the walls.
Right.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Right.
Boyfriend number 2.
Damn right.
What's the other one? Like with Moneybagg Yo, I fly out your B. To a place she didn't know exists.
Right.
Sneaky Link. There's another one. And what it's showing is like it has been made hard. You know what I'm saying? For us, because we live in a culture where it's a get at your girl culture.
Right. It is.
You know what I mean? And so it's like one of those things where we it's the things that we shouldn't do. Like we shouldn't smoke weed, right?
Right.
But it's coming out the walls. You know what I mean? With smoking weed. So it's kind of like if you're a brother in the school or a sister in the school, you're kind of weird because you don't smoke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like how when we go out and we say, hey man, you shouldn't sleep with another man's wife. We're weird. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's the culture of our culture is taken as that's something that we should be doing.
Right.
When we shouldn't.
What you're saying is absolutely imperative for people to understand. Because if you could, can you get Matthew 7 and verse 13 for me? Because what Cap is saying, I'm going to go into a little bit. Matter of fact, I might have to switch to that right now. Because right now, you have women and men all over the world who just are influenced by everything that is put through and echoing throughout social media, TV, the atmosphere everywhere. But let's start with Matthew 7 and verse 13, if you could.
Khan. This the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
So enter ye at the straight gate. The straight gate would be not sleeping with somebody's woman. The straight gate would not be smoking weed. The straight gate would be doing what the Most High tells you to do because it's straight path. It's a straightforward, small path. Continue.
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
Wide is the gate. Look at all the people that can fit into that pocket where weed, whoredom, what else is out there for everybody to do? Eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. You tell somebody you don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, the first thing they're going to wonder is if you're allergic to it, right?
Right.
Because those are the popular things to do. That's why it says, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Continue.
And many there be which go in thereat.
Many there be which go thereat. So everybody right now is literally in that culture. Everybody right now is deciding, I'm going the way of the heathen. I'm going to be like Sexy Red. I'm going to be like, who else is out there that's popular? Because I keep mentioning Sexy Red.
Glorilla.
Glorilla. Any obscene woman that's out there, women are starting to model themselves after because the attention that woman's getting. Verse 14, if you could.
Khan. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way.
It is a small gate, a small place for people to fit in that are doing the opposite of what the world is doing, right? When you hear take not the custom of the heathen, when you hear what was said in Leviticus, what was said in Jeremiah, isn't that the same thing that says, let me read that and we'll go to it. I'll tell you when to go to it. Salaki, if you could finish that for me. If you could start verse 13 and 14 while I find it.
Khan. Enter ye in at the straight gate, For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
If you could, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. In the scriptures, it leads your path on which way you should go. If you have an issue with there being 600 laws in the scriptures, why wouldn't you have an issue with there being 300,000 laws in America? There are about 300,000 laws in America. Not precisely, it's more or less. And I'll read it. It says, although there is no precise calculation of how many federal statutes exist, we're talking about federal laws alone, not even state laws, 300,000. It is said that the most cited number is approximately 300,000 laws. What happens when you break the laws of this country? There are death penalties. There is prison time. There is fine. There's no grace for not knowing the law when you break the laws in America.
Right.
If you carry a firearm to a different state by accident, or if you have a firearm legally, but you don't have the type of ammunition that's allowed in that state, you don't get to say, oh, I apologize, this is my first time, I'll go ahead and head back home, drop that off, whoop-de-whoop. No, what's going to happen is you're going to jail. The Most High winks at your ignorance for not knowing. The oppressor takes away your freedom and your liberty to be free and walk amongst other free people. That's what happens. It says there are approximately 300,000 laws, many that cover government agency regulations. The authority for innumerable federal crimes is rooted in the Constitution's Interstate Commerce Clause, aimed at focusing on activities that cross state lines. All right. You have a problem with 600 laws given out by the Most High, but 300,000 laws by the very oppressor that has enslaved us, you don't have an issue with? Salakia, I just wanted to point that out. Let's read 1 John 2 and 15 if we could, Baba Kashah.
Khan, this is the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. And
one more time from the top if you could.
Khan, love not the world.
So love not the world. Love not this society that you're in. Love not the society that has given you everything in the world that is counter to what God has given us. That is the Antichrist. Continue.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Neither the things that come with it. Don't love the evilness of the world and the things that come with it more than you love the Most High. Continue.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. The
love of the Father is not in him. The reason why your pastor can collect money Sunday after Sunday, day in and day out, is because they love the things that are in the world. They love the money that is in the world.
Right.
They love the Mercedes Benzes that are in the world. They love the BMWs that are in the world. They love the status that comes with having money in this society and in this world. They don't love the Most High. That's not what they love. If I could, let me see. There's one more thing I wanted you to read before I move on. Let me see. Let me get Proverbs 11 and 4, because we mentioned money, and right now the main thing in this world is money, is what people want. I see posts online where they're saying my family calls me to talk about things, but I'm not trying to hear it if it don't got to do with making money. Let's read what it says in Proverbs about money and riches.
Come on. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death.
When the Most High sends Christ and the angels and the world is destroyed by thermonuclear warfare, do you honestly believe that riches is going to help you? Do you honestly believe, and this is for the oppressors that are building the bunkers, do you honestly believe that you are going to be able to hide from the face of the Most High when that happens? The oppressor has their stock built up in money. That is their power. They're willing to send soldiers to be unalived in Iraq for oil money. They're willing to send disease out into the world and cancer out into the world so they can make money off of the pharmaceutical industry. But none of that is going to help them in the day of wrath. If I could, let me get one more verse, and then I'm going to go into what I wanted to talk about as far as taking the customs of the heathen. That would be Matthew 6 and 24. And why you get that? Have you seen what's going on as far as Ari Lennox? Okay, so she had made some comments. Let me see if I can find her actual audio. Let me see, because we get so mixed up. Even this is something that comes from the oppressor, being offended about something that has nothing to do with nothing. Let me see. Okay. So I'm gonna play this audio. I wish you could get a picture up, but I don't believe you'll be able to do it. Let me see. You know what? No sweat. I'll just play the audio. For those of you who don't know who Ari Lennox is, you can go ahead and look it up. All right. So Ari Lennox has an issue with comedy that comes from the Martin Show. She had an issue with what's coming from Bernie Mac. I'm gonna play a little bit of what she said, and then I'm gonna break down why this has nothing to do with nothing. And this is just another tactic that the oppressor puts out on the airwaves to get us further confused and split apart.
The thing that pisses me off about Martin is how much he would go on Pam.
And if you could listen on your phone and see how this is playing.
Is what I'm trying to say. I'm honestly problematic. I'm pretty problematic, low-key. But my point is...
So what she's going in on is how the Martin Show had colorism in it because Martin went in on Pam. I'll continue.
Is that there are some things where I draw the line and it just bothered me. Or like Pam was so beautiful and so fine, and I just feel like growing up as a chocolate girl, I don't even know if I was able to understand the greatness of Pam because of the light that I feel like I was being fed.
Okay. So she pretty much had an issue with the jokes on Martin. She's saying, which I don't believe she actually had an issue. What I believe is she's just one of those people who have taken the ways of the oppressor of being offended by everything. The liberals in this world pretend to be offended about every single thing. How many people are in the jail system right now? Let's look up how many black people are in the jail system, if I could. Because being upset about a show that is no longer even on air that talked about jokes on Pam. What Martin used to call Pam? BDB. She's upset because she's saying because Pam was dark skinned that Martin went in on her. But Martin went in on everybody. So this is that fake, woke, fake, what's it called? Offended thing that the oppressor has started to do and has rubbed off on us. What were you about to say?
But it was funny as hell, like, but you know, when we was kids, you know, because like when we was watching Martin, we was kids. So when he was like, he would make jokes on Pam, we'd be like, ah, you know, it was like funny.
Right.
But then when you get older, you realize Pam was bad.
I would like to talk about that real briefly, if I could. If you look at the relationship, and I'll just say this because I don't want to get too much in on the characters versus what Ari Lennox said. Ari Lennox is being fake upset just to get attention for whatever reason. And all this does is divide us as a people because we know a lot of black people watch the Martin Show. So now I see sisters on Instagram and other social media websites saying, yeah, Martin was misogynistic. Yeah, she's right. black men are coming at Ari Lennox because she's right and they don't want to have to listen. If you look at Pam and Gina on the show, both of the sisters was bad. Martin never brought up the fact that Pam was dark skinned or anything. Ari Lennox is the one that's into colorism. She's the one that brought that up. Ari Lennox is the culprit when it comes to colorism.
Right.
Ari Lennox is bringing this up. But if you look at all of the other issues that Ari Lennox could have talked about, Salakia, could I get a bottle of water? If I could, Baba Kasha? No sweat, sir. If you look at all the other issues she could have possibly brought up, Salakia, if you could look at all the other issues, there are a million things that plague the black community that Ari Lennox could have brought up. AI even knows that blacks are being treated racist, or excuse me, are experiencing racism in the criminal justice system. It says blacks are disproportionately represented in the U.S. Prison population, experiencing higher rates of incarcerations and harsher sentences. How come Ari Lennox didn't bring that up? Is there a reason why Ari Lennox hasn't brought up the fact that white supremacists are using ICE as an arm to lock up Hispanic brothers and sisters? Hell, Ari Lennox could have even brought up, even though those aren't our people, and Salakia, I don't give a damn about it, but Ari Lennox could have brought up Israel and Palestine. But she's concerned about the Martin show.
And Salakia, we'll keep interrupting.
No sweat, sir.
You brought out something that's heavy, and we were talking about this last night. It's because we're spoiled in America. The American culture, I'm not talking about black culture,
right.
But American culture is spoiled to where we would even give a damn about what was going on the Martin show back in the 90s.
Damn right.
Like, who would even give a damn? But because we don't have war and we don't have famine and we don't have, the types of hardships that a lot of other countries have, we tend to talk about things and bring up issues that don't mean a damn thing. And this is why, like you said, she could have been talking about Palestine and Israel, things that had substance to it.
Right.
But of course, that is way above, the thinking of somebody who's never had to think about things like that.
Absolutely.
So now, what is the main issue? The jokes that were said about Pam.
You're absolutely right. What Cap is no sweat, sir. That's perfect. What Cap is saying is heavy because we've gotten to the point of having the luxury of complaining about absolutely nothing. We're at a point in our lives where we're dissecting shows, we're dissecting different things, and even trying to make universes out of shows that have nothing to do with each other instead of trying to fix black problems. We've been lulled to sleep. I think some black people are waking up because Trump is in office. Y'all see what's going on in DC, right? Go ahead, Cap.
Salakia, man, you got me heavy, man. I'm trying to be quiet over there. I'm trying to shut up.
No sweat.
But one of the things that you said that was heavy is like, those are the things like we're trying to dissect because there really is no, you know what I mean?
It's nothing.
Relevance.
Yeah, there's no relevance to anything.
Right.
And I had a great point, but I will come back to it. You almost got, I lost my train of thought for a little bit.
Right. No sweat,
but
no sweat.
I got you on that next one, but it just, like you're saying, is like, oh, sorry, I don't want to, go ahead. I'm
you
gonna
too
bring
wild,
it back.
sir.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Nah, no sweat. No,
keep on building. You know what I mean? I got you, man.
No sweat.
I lost my train of thought on that.
No sweat. Well, I don't know if this kind of jogged the memory, but we've gotten to the point as blacks in America that the culture is to complain about absolutely nothing and bring relevancy to things that just don't help our situation. Right now, Ari Lennox could be talking about how high and disproportionate the STD rate is in the black community. She could be talking about how black homelessness is in the black community. You remember
Now,
that?
you're right. Now, and I got what I was going to say. I'm glad you said that. Like, okay, let's just say that where Ari Lennox brought out about Martin saying the jokes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Let's say she's right.
Right.
And that it is about, you know, trying to turn the black dark skin against the light skin or whatever.
Right.
Does that mean you're going to stop smoking weed? Does that mean that you're going to stop having sex with other women's men?
No, that's not where she going with it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you see where I'm going with that? Like, like, just like the people who say the earth is flat.
Right.
Okay, if the earth is flat, okay, right? Just for the sake of argument, let's say the earth is flat.
Right.
Is that going to stop the white man from busting you over the top of the head when he pull you over on the side of the road?
Right.
Is that going to stop you from? Is that going to make us have the loan that we're trying to get for our business?
Damn
is that
right.
going to give us a better rate on our mortgage? To see that the earth is flat.
Right.
So it's like a lot of this stuff is just like, it's like stupid.
It absolutely is. And if I could, what you're saying is heavy, because a lot of those things that we are getting involved in as far as conversations on the internet, whether it be the earth being flat, whether it be the Martin show and how, you know, Pam was dissing Martin, whether it be 100 men versus one gorilla, what it is just a distraction for us not to fix the current problems that we have. What it is for us to keep following behind our oppressor and doing nothing to establish ourselves as a nation that can be whole again. Because right now we're a fractured nation. If you look around, you have blacks going every which way. If you don't look at everybody, you can literally look at the blacks and say, well, damn, even have organizations within the blacks that want to fracture us because of something that they're seeing on the internet. What are those people called? Foundational Black Americans?
FBA.
The FBAs. Now we can't even be brothers with our brothers from the Caribbean. We can't be brothers with them because they didn't have the same oppressor. So because the Americans oppressed us, the British oppressed them. We're not brothers no more. They don't have right to whatever we suffered in because they suffered on a different landmass. We have all of these things going on, but you know what we're not doing? We're not stopping the things that we're supposed to be stopping in order to make us whole. Cap said it best. He said, is that going to make you stop smoking weed? No, you're going to keep smoking weed. The oppressor is going to bust you upside your damn head, and you're going to talk about Martin Lawrence and Pam instead of getting to what needs to be done. There are do y'all know how many troops are in Washington, D.C. right now? There are troops in Washington, D.C. General Mahayman said that there is an all-time low for crime right now in that area, in the area of where these troops are. Donald Trump put troops there. And for what? Because black people don't have the power because we follow behind an oppressor that hates us. What neighborhoods are they marching in? They're not marching in rich neighborhoods. I saw a clip where one of the police officers just started harassing people sitting on their porch as if these were slaves that were just freed and they want to know if they have a job. Damn near like, do you have a hall pass? You're about to say something, like around?
No, what I was going to say was that you so right. What you're saying is because, so what does that say? If the fact that they're there means that the crime rate is the lowest it's ever been, that would mean that that us being able to flourish in that type of an environment, like, you know, like the drug dealers and
right.
all that type of stuff, is because they allow it to happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because if they wanted to stop the drugs, if they wanted to stop the crime, they actually could.
Right.
But they let it go so that we can destroy each other.
Right. There, Donald Trump, I just looked it up. He put 800 troops in Washington, D.C. 800. How do I say this? It's almost like Washington, D.C. is being occupied by a force. But who do you think is going to suffer from those 800 troops being there? What tarot cards? What are you going to look into the sky and see to help get you out of that when you have over 800 troops that are ready to beat the brakes off of you at Donald Trump's voice. When you have ICE agents that are starting to take everybody that they can find to a different country that they may not even be a part of. When do we start to get it in our minds that we can no longer follow these people? There's not enough assimilation in the world that is going to help us. If anybody knows the civil rights movement, what was the civil rights movement about?
You want the real deal or no?
No, I don't want the real deal.
It
What?
was about us, getting the rights that we deserve as
Right.
humans, and being able to be respected as human beings like everybody else.
Right. If y'all couldn't hear what Cap was saying, it was about us getting the rights that we deserve. It was about us getting respect, and ultimately, the main goal was for us to be integrated into this society. That became the main goal. But does anybody know what initially the civil rights was about? Because I heard the general bring this out, so I had to do a little research on it. Initially, it was about jobs, because we were disproportionately being discriminated against, of course, back then about jobs. We didn't have any opportunity as far as jobs. Black people could not get jobs back then. The civil rights movement was so we could have jobs and we could work. Martin Luther King derailed it and took it to us being integrated so we could further follow the heathen. I'm going to play, I hope I saved it, but there's this, you guys ever heard the term white passing? Y'all ever heard that term? So it's like when a black person looks white enough where they can pass, right, and white people can't tell. Right. And a lot of times they get to be privy to conversations that, the oppressor wouldn't have in front of us. Let me see if I could find it. Good night. I'm trying to get to the clip, and I see a clip of Sinetta hugged up with some Edomite. Let me see if I could find it. I pray I sent this to myself. I might not have sent it to myself. All right, I did find it. Most High in Christ. All right. So what this sister, I think she's either a sister white pass, and I don't know what she is. She could be black, based off of what her mother, what her father is. But let me go ahead and play it. She had to quit a job because of it, because it didn't feel right for her to be in that situation. And mind you, the civil rights initially was to fight for us having jobs. And then it became about us following and taking the customs of the heathen. Let me go ahead and play it. And you can check the sound for me while I'm playing it. Like a rap through.
I had my first day today at a new job. And basically, without going too far into it, my job is to schedule care for people that need it.
This isn't even a job that this isn't even an interview process. This is so people can be cared for. This is so black people can receive care from medical providers, which happens as far as jobs are concerned. But this particular subject is care. Black people aren't receiving care properly today. And we were worried about being integrated into a society that was going to still discriminate against us once we integrated into that society.
This job is going through applications for people who want to give care. I learned today it is a name that does not sound white.
She said if it's a name that doesn't sound white, let's hear what happens.
We are to move it to the completed tasks.
They're going to take your file and move it to a place to where you won't get help. If your name is Sharkeisha, you're not getting medical care at this job. If your name is something that's not Alan Zaberkowitz, if you're not, what's another oppressor's name? Timothy Rubenstein, you're not getting help from these people. Let's continue.
We then note your application as moved due to name standards. Now, it's my first day, so I ask, what does that mean? I'm black, I'm very light-skinned, obviously. And she says,
So she says she's black. She's very light skinned. So she's white. So the term that people are using sometimes is white passing.
So you mean like our names? Like our names? Because I thought it was like a brand standard, like, no, it's literally our names. So I just want you to know, and everybody else to know, this 100% happens. And I have 122 screenshots of people, their names, their phone numbers, and their email addresses, and the reason why they were hired directly because of their name.
So
Then
now, not only is it care, she's going to the job side. Let's hear a little bit of that. I was going to stop it, but she's mentioning the job now.
this.
So she shows a
I
screenshot
did it
of
for 1 hour.
what she found.
After I got my heart rate to stop spiking, I went and found the owner like I planned and asked her directly, super calm. She didn't deny any of it. She admitted that it's, fucked up. She apologized.
Excuse the language.
I told her that I don't think this is going to be a good fit because this is not something that I would be willing to participate in. I made sure to keep it like professional and not scary, like not threatening. So I have a phone call with my guy.
All right, so we'll stop it there. Let me see if I can get the information that I had saved. Give me 1 second because I want to read this right quick. Locker Rob, if you could, Leviticus 18:3, one more time, because this is a law and the reason what the Most High tried to protect us from. The Most High tried to protect us from being under nations that were going to just utterly destroy our way of life. Nations, like I said, that would bring fruit into our spiritual fruit into our lives that would just literally tear us apart. Leviticus 18:3, Leviticus 20:23 is one of the laws that for some reason some people have a problem with. 300,000 laws in the United States that nobody of our people rally against. 300 federal laws nobody has a problem with, but you got a problem with what the Most High is saying, things that are to save your life, things that he's had grace, and letting us get right, but you have a problem with it. Let's read that one more time.
Khan, it's the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Most High in Christ. I'm going to read this last thing before we get up out of here. All right. This is just to pinpoint what I said about the civil rights movement. It says, while the civil rights movement encompassed various goals, it initially had a strong focus on securing economic justice, particularly equal employment opportunities for African Americans. Till this day, we can still see that integrating in society and taking on their customs has not helped us. If you can go to the scriptures and just read what you should be reading, if you can just do what the Most High says, then we as a people can start to backtrack all of the damage that has been done by following these other nations.
Right.
With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the class over to Priest and Officer Locker Rob. Most High Christ. Locker Rob, if you could, you'll have to use, you could turn the camera and you'll have to tilt it up a little bit. I'll go ahead and, Most High Christ.
All right, rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves from the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months,
It's
if
delayed.
a brother or sister has a particular interest in a person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 to 21, Malachi 3:8-10 means tenth in Hebrew, ma'asher. Tenth of every penny of every increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund, it's a free will fund. Whatever you feel in your heart to give. It's not mandatory. Up and coming holy convocations, we got the memorial blowing trumpets. That's going to be September 21st here at 51 Blue Hen Drive or Grove Drive.
Yeah,
Drive, like it. Drive, and everybody who's an Israelite is welcome to come out and keep the commandments with us. And with that being said, if any brother want to be a new brother in the school, start wearing all black pants, headbands, boots, and scarf. With that being said, men of Israel, Midram Shabbat, Midram Rock, Yahweh Natah, which means hands down, Sar, which means the turn. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Micah Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Allah, Shani Yahushua, Yasmatah, which means hands down, class dismissed.